welcome back to Cinnabun Sundays, a weekly video series where we talk about all things bunny, and welcome back to the bunny diet series. I'm Morgan, Cinnabun's bun mom, and if you haven't been following along on our channel, for the last month I have been going through the bunny food pyramid, breaking down every single part of a rabbit's diet, and today's episode is the grand finale. We are covering the final 5% of the food pyramid. So if you haven't watched any of those past episodes yet, pause this video right now and click somewhere up here for a link to the entire playlist so that you can become a bunny food expert. So we have covered hay, we've covered greens, and today we are covering the final 5% of the pyramid, which are treats and pellets. Now the way I want to break this video up is I want to cover 3 things that this 5% encompasses, and that's pellets, fruits, and just treats in general. So let's get into it. I think probably one of the biggest misconceptions in bunny diets is that
all they eat are pellets,
when in reality, that is the smallest part of their diet. Pop quiz, what's the biggest part of the diet? I'll wait. That's right, it's hay. Now, while pellets are a small part of your rabbit's diet, they do add a few extra nutrients, so that's why we have them in there. Some people prefer to do no pellets for their bunnies, and if you do decide to do something like that, please consult with your vet because there's extra veggies and nutrients you need to add into their diet. But for the most part, I just suggest using a small amount of pellets every day to really round out their diet. For an adult rabbit, the recommended feeding is 1/4 cup for every 5 pounds. So Cinnabun is 4 pounds, so I feed her a little less than 1/4 cup a day, and I break that into 2 feedings. Now, baby bunnies can actually have unlimited pellets, but I'm gonna touch on them a little bit more at the end. So what kind of pellets are you looking for? Well, you really want a very wholesome pellet for your rabbit. There's a ton of pellets out there that have like fruits and grains and stuff in them, and you do not want that. For an adult rabbit, you are looking for, it's always when I film where she's like, let's just have a litter box party. For an adult rabbit, you are looking for a Timothy hay-based pellet. You want these pellets to contain a minimum of 22% fiber. Protein should not be any more than 14% because, as we learned from the hay video, too much protein is actually really fatty and not good for your bunny. And you want to avoid anything with more than 1% calcium. Calcium, while it sounds good, is actually not good for your bunny and not good for their bladder. I'm gonna link down in my description some of my favorite pellets, including the ones that I feed Cinnabun. So if you need somewhere to start, try one of these brands. They're all awesome and they all hit those requirements. Now, as far as baby bunnies go, they actually require a little bit of a different diet. And I touch more on that in my what you need when you bring home a rabbit video, so check that out if you really want some assistance there. But as a whole, baby bunnies are having alfalfa pellets, and they can really have unlimited pellets. At least what I did with Cinnabun is I started giving her unlimited pellets and would figure out how much she was actually eating. And from there, I would just feed her that amount that she was eating twice a day so she could kind of get into the habit of having a daily food schedule. And then once your bunny becomes 6 months of age, you can start transitioning from those baby bunny alfalfa pellets to the adult Timothy pellets. Now that the boring pellet stuff is out of the way, let's talk about the good stuff, and that is treats. Now, treats can be in a lot of different categories. In fact, last week I talked about some treats which are actually vegetables, like carrots, celery, peppers, things like that. Other treats you can feed your bunnies are fruits. I am going to list on the screen right now fruits that are healthy for your bunny, and honestly, it's most fruits. Now, fruits are super high in sugar, so you need to really limit your bunny's fruit consumption. I try to feed Cinnabun fruits just a couple of times a week, and the recommended amount of fruits is 1 teaspoon for every 2 pounds of weight. One thing with fruit is you do not want to feed to bunnies under 6 months of age. They're just too high in sugar, and with their sensitive guts, it's just not worth it. If you are wanting to give your bunny treats and they're under 6 months of age, you can try giving them some of those veggies we talked about, but just make sure that your bunny is at least 3 to 4 months and has been introduced to the vegetable before you start feeding it. Now, while fruits and veggies are the most natural way to spoil your bunny, it is so tempting to just go out and buy some of those adorable bunny treats that are out there. And that is totally fine. You just need to understand what makes up a good treat and what kind of treat you should stay away from. My rule of thumb with treats is the more ingredients, the worse they are. I really love finding treats that have just a couple of ingredients. When you read the ingredient list on the back, you understand what those ingredients are, because you don't want to just give something to your rabbit that you don't understand. I'm gonna put in my description some of our favorite treat companies if you want somewhere to start. But when it comes to purchasing treats, you really want to avoid things that contain dairy, that contain nuts, seeds, grains, breads, things like that. One thing to note is when you're getting store-bought treats, not only are you adding in the sugar from the fruit or veggie that's in the treat, but you're also adding in more unnatural ingredients or some fattier ingredients. And while that is not going to hurt your bunny, especially in small doses, you just want to be aware of that and offer things in moderation. When it comes to treats, here's my rule of thumb. I don't feed treats every single day. I wish I could, and trust me, it is hard not to with Cinnabun, but it's nice to add variety. So some days I'll give her dried flowers or some type of veggie, which is a healthier treat, but still a treat. Other days I'll give her about 2 teaspoons of banana or berry, and that's her treat for the day. And then other days I'll give her 1 or 2 treats from something that I've bought. So I just really try to give her things in moderation and add a variety. Not daily, not in large doses, and just as a treat. It's just all about using your best judgment. If you notice your bunny might be putting on a couple of pounds, that means it's time to back off on the treats and really add in those healthier things. Very similar to a human diet. And with that, Buns, that is the completion of the bunny food pyramid. I hope that over the last month you have learned so much and that this has helped you along on your bunny's diet journey. I am not a vet. If you have any very firm questions about introducing food to your bunny, trying something else out, please talk to your vet about it. They are going to know what's best for your bunny. I am simply your guide, helping to move you along in the right direction. Now, since this month has been very filled with a lot of information, I think that it is time for a surprise on this channel, if you know what I mean. So stay tuned for that, because I might be seeing you a little bit before Sunday. Bye, Buns.